I'm gonna tell you a story that I wish somebody told me 5 years ago. I hope this helps you. We've all seen the stories: the overnight success, the YouTuber who blows up with one video, the app that gets 1 million downloads in its first week, the entrepreneur who becomes a millionaire in their first year. We see the highlight reel, the victory lap, the finished product, and a dangerous thought takes root in our minds. That could be me, and it should happen fast. So you take action. You have a powerful why driving you. You launch your channel, you build your app, you start your business. You work hard for a month, 3 months, maybe even 6. The music slows and becomes tense. The visuals shift to someone anxiously refreshing a screen with low numbers, looking frustrated at a lack of progress, and comparing their work to a much more successful competitor. But the results aren't coming. The explosive growth you expected is just a slow, grinding crawl. You're exhausted, you're discouraged, and you start to think this isn't working. You haven't failed. You've just fallen into the third chasm, the expectation-reality gap. This is the chasm that separates our optimistic timelines from the brutal truth of the grind. It is the most common reason why people with great ideas and strong work ethics quit. Not because the work is too hard, but because the results come too slow. We're running a marathon, but we've trained for a sprint. We see someone else crossing the finish line, and we don't see the years of training, the injuries, the setbacks, and the lonely miles they ran when no one was watching. We only see their victory. So we compare our day 15 to their day 1,500, and the gap feels impossible to close. Disillusionment sets in, and it's a quiet killer of dreams. It convinces you to abandon a perfectly viable dream simply because it didn't grow on your artificial schedule. Now you're thinking, okay, I know my dream, I know I want to pursue this thing. Now what? How do I get over this? So here are the 2 essential mindset shifts. First, stop measuring your progress with a clock and start measuring it with a calendar. You must stop measuring your progress with a clock and start measuring it with a calendar. Here's what I mean. When you watch videos like mine or consume content around business, you're getting a dopamine hit of inspiration. You feel motivated after watching. But then something interesting happens. Your mind fills in the blanks. It creates a narrative of how easy everything is. Oh, he did $1 million in his first year, so it should be easy to do from my base. He makes it look so easy. So, I can probably do it too. But there's a problem with that logic. You're forgetting all the times he failed before then. You're forgetting that all those early businesses, those early side hustles, those attempts didn't make the cut. They didn't make the highlight reel. You're only seeing the result, not the whole journey. So here's what you have to do. Study realistic timelines. Stop consuming the highlight reels and start studying the real stories. Go find 5 people who are where you want to be in your city, in your country, anywhere in the world. Don't just look at what they have now, research how long it actually took them. How many years before their business was profitable? How many videos before their channel took off? How many failed projects before their successful one? When you see that the average overnight success was actually 7 to 10 years in the making, your perspective will change forever. You'll stop feeling behind and start seeing that you are right on track. And second, focus on process, not outcome. You cannot control how many people buy your product this week. You cannot control if your video goes viral. But you can control your actions. So shift your goals from the uncontrollable outcome to the controllable process. For example, instead of get 1,000 subscribers, your goal is publish one high-quality video every Tuesday. Instead of make 1,000, your goal is make 10 sales calls every single day. Fall in love with the process. Celebrate the completion of the work, not the applause. When you measure your success by your own discipline, you create a system where you win every single day, regardless of the external results. The results will eventually come as a byproduct of your consistent effort. Think about the last time you were excited by a new idea, a new project, a new business idea, a new creative idea. You had this fire lit under you. You were ready to go, and then life happened. Doubts crept in, distractions pulled at you, and suddenly that fire dimmed. Maybe you started that business idea, but you didn't put in the same energy you did in the first few weeks. Maybe you stopped reading books and replacing Netflix with the library. Maybe you abandoned that fitness goal at the first sign of struggle. Well, I'm here to tell you that dimming the fire is not the answer. In fact, it's the worst thing you could do. Your ability to maintain that fire, to keep going when others quit, that's what separates the dreamers from the doers, the starters from the finishers. But why is it so hard to keep that fire burning? Why does it fade so easily? Because we're constantly measuring ourselves against the wrong yardstick. We're measuring our current stage against the peak of someone else's journey. Think about it. If I were to ask you how long it takes to become a great singer, you would probably say, well, it depends on your talent and your practice, right? But then you meet someone who became famous on TikTok and now has millions of followers, and you start to doubt yourself. Why do I need to practice for 10 years when she blew up in her first year? That's where the magic happens. You have to consciously decide to stay in the game, to keep putting in the work even when the results don't align with your expectations. In other words, you have to learn to embrace the suck. This is a term coined by sports psychologist and author of the book The Art of Coaching, Phil Jackson. He used it to describe the period of time when you were working hard but not seeing the results you want. It's when your skills are rusty and you're still learning. It's when you're putting in the hours but you're not the best. Simply put, it's when you're in the trenches doing the work. But here's the thing, the suck is not a bad place to be. It's where growth happens. It's where you develop the skills you need to succeed. If you want to become a great musician, you have to learn to play the instrument, read music theory, and write songs. That takes time and practice. If you want to become an amazing public speaker, you have to practice your delivery, connect with your audience, and improve your content. That also takes time and practice. If you want to master any skill, you have to embrace the suck and put in the work. It reminds me of a quote by the legendary basketball player Michael Jordan. "I've missed more than 9,000 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I've been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I've purposely put myself in thousands of tough situations so that I could experience the feeling of failure. For success is a sweet revenge." This is someone who knows what it means to embrace the suck. He understood that success wasn't going to come easy. It would require countless hours of practice, dedication, and sacrifice. And through it all, he had to accept the fact that he would fail, miss shots, and lose games. But he embraced it because he knew it was part of the journey. Okay, let's bring it back home. You set out on a journey to achieve your dreams, whether it's starting a business, pursuing a creative passion, or mastering a new skill. But somewhere along the way, you get stuck in the quagmire of the expectation-reality gap. You start comparing your progress with others and wondering why things aren't happening faster for you. It's easy to get caught up in this comparison trap. After all, we live in a world where success is constantly on display. Thanks to social media, you're bombarded with images of people who seem to be effortlessly achieving their dreams, and it can be disheartening. But remember, those images are often carefully curated to portray a certain lifestyle. They're not always an accurate representation of the hard work and sacrifices that went into creating them. As Henry David Thoreau once wrote, "Beware of the man who looks at the manosphere and thinks he can't breathe." Now is the time to redefine success on your terms. Let your goals be your own, and let your timeline be dictated by your progress, not someone else's expectations. Embrace the suck, stay in the game, and keep putting in the work. Success may not come when you expect it to, but it will come if you don't give up. I hope this video helps you. Subscribe if you haven't already. See you next time.